Welcome to this Great Grades Maths video, which is part of Module 1, Using Numbers, and this is video part 4, Multiplication and Division. So in this video, we're going to look at two different methods that we can use for multiplication, and as well how we can divide one number by another. So looking at multiplication then, first of all, the first method that we're going to look at is called the box method. So let's try and do this sum, 48 times 23. This would be very difficult for us to do in our heads, but the box method makes it extremely easy. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to split up each number into two other numbers that are easier to deal with. So for instance, 48 times 23, we can split up the 48 into 40 and 8. I can split up the 23 into 20 and 3. So drawing a box out and putting the numbers in, we set out the sum like this. And then all we have to do is times the numbers together. So 40 times 20 is equal to 800. Then 40 times 3, well, that's 120. 8 times 20, well, that's 160. And then 8 times 3 is 24. Now once we've done all of this, what we have to do is we have to add them all up together. So 800 plus 160 plus 120 plus 24, and that equals 1104. So now let's look at the column method for doing this, and this is the more traditional method in which multiplication is done. And this is a little bit harder, but once you master it, it's very easy to do. So this is just the same as for addition, but instead we multiply each column instead of add them together. So trying again to do 48 times 23, we set out the sum as follows: 48 times 23, with all the tens above each other and all of the units above each other. So we do 8 times 3, well, that is equal to 24. And then we do 3 times 4, well, that's 12 plus the 2, which gives us 14. And now we have to move on to the next number. We cross out the 2 because we've used that. And then we move on to the 2 now, but because we have to do that, we have to add a 0 in the first column. And then 2 times 8, well, that's equal to 16. And then 2 times 4, well, that's 8 plus a 1 gives us 9. Cross out the 1 because we've already used that, we want to use it again. And then now what we have to do is we have to add these two numbers together. So 4 plus 0, that gives us 4. 4 plus 6, well, that gives us 10. We only put the 0 in the first column, and then we carry the 1. 1 plus 9 gives us 10, plus 1 gives us 11. So 1104. So let's look at division now then, and how we can do this without using a calculator. Let's try to do this sum, 847 divided by 5, something that would be incredibly difficult for us to do inside our heads. So first of all, we set out the sum as follows, with the 5 outside the little box and the 847 inside. And what we try to do is, instead of thinking about how many times does 5 go into the whole large number, we break it down. So we first look at how many times does the 5 go into the 8, and then into the other numbers. So first of all, the 5 then going into the 8, well, that goes in once, but then we have some left over. We have 3 left over. So we put that in front of the 4, hovering in mid-air, which turns it into 34. And now it's how many times does the 5 go into 34? And so this goes 6 times, but there's a remainder of 4. So now that turns the 7 into 47, and then it's how many times does 5 go into 47? Well, that's 9. But it doesn't go exactly. We have some left over. We have 2. So because we are doing a division by 5, we can say we've got 2/5 left, or 2 over 5 left. However, we can turn that also into a decimal. Let's put the decimal point back in to our original number, and we'll put the decimal point into the number that we've calculated. So the 2 that was left over, that remainder, goes in front of the new 0 now to turn it into 20. And that's how many times does 5 go into 20? But it goes exactly 4 times. So then our answer to this division is 169.4. Thanks for watching this Great Grades Maths video. For notes about this topic, practice questions, and for further videos, please visit greatgradestuition.com.